fishing rods. They're an extension of an angler's arm, the vessel that delivers your bait or lure to the fish. But how do they get from this bare, thin bit of tube into a high-tech piece of aquatic weaponry capable of handling fish of all shapes and sizes? Today, we're going to be going through the whole process from start to finish on how to make some of the greatest rods in the world. Have a go there! G'day guys, and welcome back to another episode here out the front of Wilson Fishing Headquarters today for a bit of a different episode. We're going to be talking about fishing rods, in particular how they are made. Joined by Troy Dicko Dixon. You would have seen him a fair few times on the episodes actually, and soon to be joined by one of the other rod technicians, Panda, and we're going to be seeing the start to finish process of how some of the world's best fishing rods come together. Now, one little fact that Dicko just let me know is Wilson Fishing was one of the original rod manufacturers in Australia and still the current largest rod manufacturer in Australia.
And proud of it, mate.
Now, before we get stuck into the meat and potatoes, it's worth having a little trip down memory lane because I think it is something very cool. It's also how Wilson comes into the picture. We've got some old fishing gear here. Obviously, fishing's been around for thousands and thousands of years, but this is some of probably the more modern in its time fishing gear. Dicko, what are we looking at?
Mate, this is some of the earlier like split cane rods, solid glass rods, and this is where it all began for Wilson Fishing. You know what I mean? Old Les, the founder of Wilson Fishing, he used to make all the components for all of these style rods, like reel seats, all the two-piece ferrules and stuff like that. And mate, this is going back a long time ago. This is where it all began.
So we've got solid, what is that, stainless? Brass reel seats. So all this stuff, you know, weight wasn't an issue there. They were just trying to get the job done. These things heavy as. This split cane rod, there's 5 bits of cane actually glued together to make a solid blank, and then the rods, the runners and stuff are glued onto there. And then I guess the more recent one is solid fiberglass. And I can tell you what, I've got about 6 rods that I could hold together that would weigh as much as this one now.
Yeah.
Just crazy going back that far. But we've got to show this here. This is epic. So this is a pistol grip bait caster. Now that is solid. I don't even know what metal that would be. Dicko, you might know, but
no, I don't.
Handcrafted. One of the original pistol grips you would ever find. That is amazing. Righto, let's go look at what we're using today. So we saw what they used to be made out of. Now this is what they're currently made of. Dicko, I'm out of my depth here, so I'm going to pass it over to you. You can talk a little bit about the process of how these blanks are made and what the kind of more modern materials are.
Well, with the Venom blanks in particular, they are made of the highest quality carbons you can find on the planet. So there's not just one lot of carbon in this. You can see in this particular rod, there's 2 styles of carbon. But they're the highest quality carbons you can buy in blank, and the resins that are used in this are one of the secret ingredients.
So I guess, how do we go from splitting a piece of cane into 5 different pieces to now this? Like, what is this? Like, how's that made?
Mate, well, it starts out as a sheet of carbon.
Yep.
And then they roll it on a mandrel. So they roll it, and then they do. So you've got all different layers. So they'll make it however strong you want it, or as however light you want to make it.
What is a mandrel?
So the mandrel is what the carbon is wrapped around. It gives you the taper of the rod.
Okay.
So you can see how it starts thick at this end,
yep,
and goes to thinner at that end.
So it's a long cone, a metal cone, I'm guessing?
Yep.
And does each rod have its own mandrel, or do you use?
Well, they can use the same mandrel on multiple rods. It just all depends on how much or how much carbon you put on the particular rod. So.
Yeah, right, well there you go. Now you'll be able to see behind us here, we've got, I would hate to know how many blanks, thousands, in the thousands. Yeah. How many rods are you guys making at the moment? Different models, I should say.
Well, I would comfortably say now that we do 300 plus.
Different rods?
Different models of rods.
So obviously with Wilson, they've got the infamous Venom series. That is not only one of the best rods in Australia, it's probably world renowned. They make from game fishing rods all the way down to your reef soft plastic rods, your light tackle rods, and everything in between. Then you guys do, I can see some surf rods, and I know I've got some of them as well.
We do the Schneider glass.
Schneider glass.
We still do live fibre.
Right,
so
yes.
Which is live fibre.
A lot of you older gentlemen would know, and ladies would know the live fibre series, infamous in the 90s and 80s, and they were one of the...
still going strong.
Still going strong, yes. But the Venom would be the flagship rod now, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, the Venom has all of the best materials you can buy that are possible to buy in the world.
And from first-hand experience, it is not impossible, but if you use it the right way, you can't break a venom, and that's what they say. Okay guys, we've said goodbye to Troy Dicko Dixon, and now we introduce Panda, the man with only one name, or one name that we know him by, but he is the rod workshop manager. There's something about rods that he doesn't know, it's not worth knowing. Now, you're going to be taking us through the whole process. Righto, that's our bloke?
Yep, let's get the bits and let's get going.
Let's do it.
First step, we need a reel seat for this. So we're going to use Alps aluminium reel seat. So light, strong. We've got a foregrip here. And last off, need a rear EVA.
Now, I might add, he's done this about 1,000, if not more times, so it is easy to choose which size when you know from muscle memory exactly which one to choose. But there's boxes there, all different sizes of componentry for all the different types of rods. These ones need the big stuff, pulling in big fish.
Now, I'll run you through the steps we go to make it into a rod. Get a rear EVA, a little bit of heat. Now next off, reel seat. We need to tape the reel seat up, and that keeps this reel seat in line with the blank, spaced out just the way we want it. Next off, foregrip. I'm going to walk you through the steps of how we backbone and tip.
So these ones are glued, ready to rock and roll. First of all, for everyone at home, what is a backbone on a rod?
So a backbone is where they've actually wrapped all the carbon on the mandrel, and you'll find there's one straight tack line on that. So you always have a heavy side of the blank. And then the backbone is actually finding the natural curve in which the rod wants to sit in. There we go, there's a solid backbone there. And that's where it's most comfortable. And I can try to roll that and it's gonna snap back to where it wants to sit in that backbone. So from here, we'll throw the tip on and line the two up. All right, here we got Dave. Dave's been with us for 20 years. He's one of our most experienced rod builders we got. So he's gonna run us through how to tip this rod and go from there.
Yeah, sometimes the tips are loose. What you do is put a little bit of string on it to make it at least firm enough. Put the tip on. That's it, and then cut the excess away. Like you said, we're now finding the backbone. Dead out. Tips facing down, that's right, and then turn the winch to the tip. It's a spin rod. That's it, that's how we do it.
So the next stage we've got to get is mark this rod out, grab the guides for it, and get onto binding.
We're here in front of a massive wall of boxes, all containing different runners for different rods. How do you choose which runners go on which rods?
So it all depends on the weight class of the rod and whether it be overhead, spin. But right here we've got a good selection of Fuji quality products.
A very good selection,
yes,
some would say.
Yes, no, so that keeps us ticking. So Fuji silicone guides are what's featured on all the Venom rods. All right, let's get binded, Sammy. So here we got an RLS VS7. It's halfway through being bound, but we're gonna finish off the rest of this and we'll take you through the processes. So it's already been marked out for the guide spacing.
They're the marks he's talking about there. Now, how do you know where to put the runners? Is that experience? I'm guessing once you've done it once and it works, then you just repeat that for that one. But every rod would be different spacing, wouldn't it?
Yes, correct. Different blanks require different spacing, and whether it be spin or overhead.
So the runner spacing, that accounts for good casting and also getting the best possible action out of the blank. I guess if you only had a couple, it'd be a big gap and it'd make the blank stress in different points and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, right. Righto, let's chuck some runners on.
Let's do it. So we're going to be doing the stripper guide. So this actually gets underbound first with trims at either end, and then we'll come back and put the guide over the top of that. Alright, so we're just going to finish this one here. Alright, so now we're ready to put the guide on. guide binded on the rod. So here we got Danny, one of our other members of the team.
Hey Danny.
How you doing?
And he's on the lining up section. So from here, he's gonna just give it a quick eye off, make sure they're all within reason.
And with that binding, it's rinse and repeat for all the other runners. Once you've seen one, you've essentially seen them all, haven't you, Panda?
You surely have.
But the big key is getting them straight, and that's what we're doing here.
We've got a template along the wall. It just helps us as a reference point. And from here, he's just making small incremental adjustments.
Righto, now this part I do know. After the binding, they need to be coated now. Coating, what do you use essentially? It's epoxy, isn't it?
Yeah, 2-part epoxy. Takes over about 24 hours to fully cure to good hardness.
Fair to the main function of the coating?
So this is to help seal the thread and keep the guides in place. We've got the rod in the drying rack. We'll leave this here for overnight once it's all hardened, and then we'll go get our venom stickers put on it.
Now you'll see this is constantly rotating. Obviously the glue is still liquid. If you have it in one position, it'll all droop down to one side or pool.
Correct.
So the rotation just keeps it all even.
Yep.
Gets a nice good coverage.
Yep, helps it self-level.
Yeah,
Yep.
lovely.
So this rod's come back for its first coat now. Now it's time to get a venom stickers on it. And then we go back over to the coating bench for another coat.
Now that second coat looks exactly the same as putting on the first coat. It's just another one, extra strength, makes it extra shiny. And we're at the final step. And that is sticking the butt caps on.
Surely is, Sammy. And quality check. So we go through, every venom gets quality checked, up and over, feel for any little imperfections or if the coat wasn't thick enough. But this one's checked out all good. So we'll get the tape off that and put a butt cap in it. Now as you can see, we've got different types of gimbals here and butt caps for different types of rods. Through to heavy, light, the whole lot. So this one's a nice little whippy stick. And it's just taking a little venom butt cap there. So let's get ready to glue it up.
Righto, bit of glue and it's done.
Bit of glue and it's done, mate.
So that's the whole process, guys. Once those butt caps are dry, obviously the glue does need to set. Those rods are ready to be tagged and they get sent out to shops and end up in anglers' hands all over the world.
They do.
That is unreal. Well, guys, a massive thank you to Panda, Dicko, who we had at the start, and also the guys from Wilson, just for letting us have a look inside their rod building factory. It is absolutely epic to see how it all comes together. It's a bit of a process, but I'll tell you what, I'm glad I'm on the other end of it and just using them for the fun stuff. Thanks, mate.
No, all good, mate.
Awesome.
Too easy.
Cheers, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.
See you guys.